let's start with our breath. As you breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth. And we're just gonna Om a little bit, as many times as you like, for as long as you like, and enjoy the M part of the Om, the vibration. See if you can get your lips a little bit tickly, or feel the vibration in your chest a little bit. You can put your hand on your heart. Om. And as we move through the practice, just allowing yourself to breathe mostly through your nose. Seeing how your sinuses feel this morning. I know it's allergy season for many, many of us. So we just move through it like we do all the other seasons, trying to just manage as we can. So of course, breathing through the mouth is fine. Begin to open your senses to take in what's around you. Let's start with our eyes. Opening the eyes and looking around. Just kind of looking to one side of the room and then the other a couple of times, and then pick something to look at that feels really good, that you like to look at, that you enjoy. Take a deep breath and let it go. And then look to the other side of the room. Keep breathing deep and slow, maybe even rocking a little bit. And then go ahead and close the eyes and lower the chin a little and open your ears. Notice the sounds in the room, the ones that you probably forgot were there. The gift of sound is that we don't have to go looking for it. It just comes to us. Take another deep breath. Feel free to keep the eyes closed or open them at any time, and begin to feel with the sense of touch. Maybe even just touch your thumb to your fingertips and rub them a little, or feel the clothes on your skin or the floor underneath you. Take a deep breath. And then maybe there's a taste in your mouth, maybe not. You might just swallow, just remembering that you have the sense of taste. And then let that go. And we'll just lift our arms a little, twisting the wrists nice and slow in one direction several times. And you can just look downward, stretching the back of the neck, maybe rocking the head a little bit to one side and then the other. And whenever you're ready, you'll switch the directions of the wrist twisting. Just to see how it feels. Maybe roll the head back a little as you start to lift your elbows. And put your fingertips on your shoulders and point your elbows up, arch your back a little bit, maybe even look upward. You can put your hands on the sides of your head to support your neck as you look up. Take another big breath. And then round forward, bring your elbows forward and let them tap each other. It's okay if you round the upper back a little bit. If you have osteoporosis, you're going to want to keep that low back nice and flat. And then we'll do that a couple times. Inhale the elbows up, open the heart and the chest. Exhale and let the elbows tap together, rounding, dropping the head. You're always welcome to hum, especially on that exhale. Just keep the sound fluid and moving in the body. This is really good for the nervous system. So one more time, inhale, open, and exhale, gently round. Coming up to a neutral spine, take the hands back behind you, lean back, and if you were crisscross, lift your feet and twist those ankles, bend the knees a little bit. Just feel the feet a little there. Use the core just a little bit. It's okay if you round your back a little, but if you need to, keep it nice and flat. We're just going to tuck one foot in and stretch the other foot out, whichever one you like, and we're just going to rock a little bit. The back is long as one plank. Just leaning forward and back. You should start to feel a little bit of stretch on the inside of that long leg. Flatten up the foot and even curl the toes back towards your kneecap. Just one or two more rocks here. Slowly lean back. We're going to bend the knees and lift the feet again, twisting out those ankles. Make some sideways pedals here with your feet, and then slowly tuck the other foot in and stretch the other leg out and rock in and out. We're taking a little bit of inventory here. What does it feel like on the inside of this leg? Does it feel similar or very different? Our bodies are very asymmetrical, and that's the way we are. One side does one thing and the other does another thing. Leaning back again, go ahead and lift the knees, and this time just pedal the feet, point and flatten. Get the toes involved a little bit. And let's come into butterfly, soles of the feet coming together, knees opening wide apart. And your feet could be as far or close to you as you like. The closer they are, the deeper the inner stretch. The farther they are, the deeper the hip kind of compression is there. And I'm just going to lean into the stretch. You can lean as far as you like. You can hold on to toes. You could rock a little bit. Now we're testing into the sides of the back. How do they feel this morning? Ah, yes. Sometimes if you rock to one side, you can feel how the muscles and the tendons wrap all the way around, down through the glute and into the back of the leg. It's pretty incredible how we are connected. Come back to center, one more deep stretch forward, maybe inhale, exhale. And lift the head. We're going to pick up one of our legs, squeeze it into our chest, hold on under the thigh, and just roll the leg around, kind of move it side to side. You can keep wiggling toes and feet. Make sure that the thigh is squeezed in toward the belly there and everything is kind of squished up. Good. And we're going to start to swing the leg wide. Put the foot on the floor really wide, and then let the knee drop forward so that your legs are in two V's. This should feel really strange right across the side of the thigh here. And we're gonna lean toward that back foot and just get a little awkwardness going on, a little discomfort, a little outer edge of the body stretch as well. You can let your head follow. And then just drop the chin forward. And as it comes forward, lift the spine upward and turn away from the feet and start to tiptoe your fingertips down the mat, stretching into the hip that you're laying on top of. And maybe a little bit across this back thigh as well. We're gonna rock a little bit here, side to side, shoulder to shoulder, just see how it feels. And you might turn your head to one side as you rock in that direction or the other. Coming down onto one elbow and stretching the other arm out, just moving, oscillating side to side. Life is really the story of polarization, polar opposites, side to side, in and out, black and white. But we don't have to get polarized. We can still oscillate between the two. Coming back to center, crawl yourself up and get a little back bend. Arch the back, looking in that same direction still. Walk a little taller, lean back with that back of the head reaching behind you. And then turn, lift the knees and turn in the direction of your feet. So you're kind of on a diagonal and we're just gonna rock side to side. Yeah, you can lift the toes, wiggle them a little. And then we're going to, how did I do that? We're gonna drop the knee that went back last time and we're gonna pick up the other thigh and foot and just roll the ankle, roll the toes, Rock the knee, the leg, side to side, squish. Get a little squish going there. It's always good to squish our organs a little bit, get a little bit of the old juices out so new ones can come in. And when you're ready, you're gonna slowly step that foot out really wide and then drop the knee down. And I don't want the knees touching or even the foot to the knee touching, but you of course are gonna find your place here. Also, just as a sidebar, I'm sitting up on a blanket, which really helps keep my back in a nice position. I'm just gonna rock a couple times here. And then I'm gonna start to lean toward the back foot so I get that weird kind of compression on the outer edge of the inner edge and the opening on the outer edge. You might even add an arm. We didn't do that on the other side, it's okay. Take a big breath. And as you're ready, lowering the arms and walking over to the other side. Starting to rock as you walk. Take some deep breaths. Feel how the inhale increases the stretch and the exhale lets it soften. Dropping elbow to elbow might feel pretty good. Coming up, walking the hands in toward the hip. We're going to lean back with the head, get a deep back stretch. And then I'm just going to crawl forward again and lift my hips and come onto hands and knees and crawl onto my mat. Feel free to put a blanket under your knees if you like how that feels. And begin to just move intuitively, rolling the hips a little, making some big circles or rocking, anything that feels good to you. Keep noticing the flowing of the breath in and out. Let's curl the toes under and get a little toe stretch. See if you can feel your big toe and your little toe and all the toes in between. You might even rock the feet a little bit and begin to walk your hands towards your knees, sit your hips towards your heels, and see how it feels to stretch the sole of your foot, your feet. You can stay really low, or you can walk your hands onto your thighs and bring the shoulders over the hips and maybe take a few cat-cows. Just see how it feels. Nice deep breaths. And as your toes start to feel the intensity, you are always allowed to come in and out of that toe stretch. You don't have to stay very long. When you do decide to come out, go ahead and lift your feet off the floor and squeeze and open the toes, roll the ankles again. See how that feels. See if your kneecaps are okay with that. Let's move into cat and cow, rounding the back as we exhale. Let the head hang. Lifting the head and the tailbone, dropping the belly as you inhale. Roll the shoulders back, broaden the collarbones. And go as slow or fast as it feels right for you, finding your own rhythm. Let's come down onto our elbows, bringing those elbow points right into the hand prints, and keep moving the spine in the cat and cow movement from the elbow position. Just take one step back with each of your kneecaps and keep doing that cat and cow movement if it feels okay. It's going to get a little smaller. Rocking now forward, the shoulders toward the hands. Let the hips come all the way down to the floor. You might lift your head and shoulders for a breath. And then start to level out the shoulders and lift the hips upwards, sink them back, stretch into the shoulders if you like. And we're going to move really slowly from that wide open kind of elbow plank position into our Sphinx pose, up and down a few times, but go really slowly here. Use your core as you lift up and slide back down. If you want to stay in one position or the other for a few deep breaths, you're welcome to do that at any time. Feel free to make little adjustments of elbows and knees. Let's take 2 more breaths here, just rocking back and forth. Let's go ahead and end all together on our bellies. You can leave the blanket where it is if it feels good for your back, or you can take it out. We're just going to settle into Sphinx Pose. See how it feels to walk the elbows a little closer together. You can bring them all the way together if it feels good for your shoulders, or you can keep them wide apart. And I'm just going to rock over to one side of the mat, shoulder coming almost all the way to the floor, and then over to the other side. Just nice and slow. The hips are soft and they can kind of follow along, but we're getting a nice deep front side edge stretch. Once more to each side. Coming back to center, start to reach forward with your arms and come all the way down onto your belly, onto your chest. See if you want to just leave your chin on the floor or your forehead on the mat. You can bend your elbows and make a little pillow for your forehead as well. Reach back down behind you, flatten the tops of the feet, point the toes so that you feel really long and stretched out. Take 2 breaths right down into your core, into your stomach and your diaphragm. Leave the upper body nice and soft and begin to float the feet and maybe the kneecaps off the floor. Press into the pubic bone, maybe lift your head. Reach nice and long and lower down. Let's do that one more time. Just the legs mostly, maybe a little bit of head and shoulders, lifting and lowering down. And then reach out with one arm. I'm going to reach out with my right arm and I'm going to roll over onto my right side. Just rolling over. I'm going to get rid of the blanket. We're just going to rest, seed pose here. You can bend the knees, stack them. Let the top arm rest on top of you or in front of you. Just take a little break, some deep breaths. Feel free to sigh it out. Deep breath in and out. With your next inhale, reach long with your arm and your leg. Inhale, stretch them down the mat away from each other. Arm over the head, toes down toward the bottom. Exhale and bring them together. Just tap your knee to your elbow. And inhale, stretch it out. And exhale, tap it together. Feel free to close your eyes and just move with your breath. And if you get your inhale and exhale switched, don't worry about it. Just enjoy the movement and the moment. And of course, you could just do the leg or just the arm or any other variation that you like. Let's do one more time, reaching out long, lengthening the full side of the body. And then as you bring your hand back, let it come to the floor and stretch the top leg out in front of you. You can keep the knee bent if you like, or just stretch it straight out. Start to push the bottom leg down the mat so that you're in a big scissor position here. You can point your toes or flatten the feet and take the top arm up and over and start to roll back behind you and let that top leg get dragged back as you do that. Reach up over the head with the arm that you reached back with. And of course, you could be reaching further back as well. One more big breath here. And then slowly begin to bend the front knee, roll back onto your shoulder, and bring the hand to the floor. So the bottom leg is long, the top knee is bent at a 90-degree angle from the hip. We're going to start to bend the bottom knee and point the toes up. You might point them just toward the sky or toward the corner that's at the angle of your head, or you can reach for your toes and stretch out that quad muscle. It's always been strange to me to realize how the fronts of my legs are connected to the tightness of my low back. Very strange. And I'm just going to stay here. You guys know you can roll all the way into your cat pulling its tail and play there with more of a twist. I'm just going to focus on the thigh, just rolling the foot up and down. I can feel that thigh muscle rolling on the mat there. Another breath or two. And we're going to slowly transition back onto our belly, stretching both legs out. Both arms can reach out. Take a big belly breath, maybe rock a little. Start to crawl your elbows in. Start to push your butt up so you're moving into more of a planking or an elbow down table pose, cat and cow, or maybe a child's pose. Wide knees, big toes tap. And sit way back. Let the belly drop between the legs. Walk the hands further forward so you're getting a big stretch from your tailbone to your fingertips. Take a deep breath in and then let it go. Crawl all the way up to table. And just rock the hips a little bit, and we're just going to crawl around to the other end of the mat so that we can still see each other. And we're going to take our time, cat, cow, breathing in and out, very mindfully feeling the moving in the spine. This simple movement, I think I overlook it on a regular basis. It is one of the most important rejuvenating, beneficial movements for the back of the body and the front. Just evening out all of the different distributions within the vertebrae and the little pads in between them. This just helps fluff them up and bring new life. Begin to bring your elbow points down into your hand prints. Take the cat-cow 2 or 3 more times. And start to crawl your elbows 1 step forward. Maybe take another cat-cow there. And maybe walk your knees back a step and another cat-cow. So we're kind of catching ourselves in a little bit of a plank. And then we're dropping the hips down and lifting them up a few times just to see and engage the core. Sometimes low back tightness is actually really helped by warming up the core, because it's that tight, cold core that tends to pull on that low back. It's rocking. And then settling into Sphinx Pose when you're ready. Elbows under shoulders or wherever it feels good for you. Maybe rock one shoulder to one edge of the mat and then the other. So you're getting a little bit of a twisting and side stretching. Starting to reach the arms out long in front of you. You can put your chin or your forehead on the floor. Or maybe even bend the elbows and make a little pillow. As you press into the pubic bone and begin to lift the knees and the feet off the ground, maybe the head follows. Take a breath. And settle down. One more time. Feel the core engage. And then relax. And really relax. Let it go. Begin to reach out. This time I'm reaching out with my left arm, so I'm going to roll onto my left side. You can roll onto the side that works for you here. Stacking knees, seed pose. Then we'll move into our flowing, opening and closing movement. Inhaling, the top arm and leg reach away from each other, and exhaling, the elbow and the knee tap. Feel free to have that flat foot, the top foot flat or pointed. It really depends on your preference. Maybe closing the eyes or just gazing straight ahead so you can really feel what's going on in your shoulder and your hip. If it feels good, keep doing it 1 or 2 more times. If you're done, please take a rest. The top hand's going to come down in front of us, and the top leg is going to reach out nice and long. The knee can be as bent as you like. The foot comes to the floor. And we start to straighten out the bottom leg, nice and long. Feel the legs open away from each other, a big scissors open position, and then let the top hand reach back, or maybe lay the shoulder back and then reach the arm up. Your favorite variation here. Deep breath. Starting to rebend the front knee and let it come to the floor. You can have the knee at a 90-degree angle and the hip as well. And then you can start to bend that bottom leg, bending at the knee joint, maybe just lifting and lowering the leg. You can always use a strap if you like, or you can see if the foot is within reach. And if it is, you can hold on and maybe rock that foot side to side. And you're welcome to do any of those movements during any of this time. Anything that helps you feel that quad muscle, that big top thigh muscle there against the floor. Just giving it a little massage and a little healthy stretch. Feel the inhale and the exhale. You're welcome to move into more of a cat pulling its tail, twisting back if you like that. And relax and let that foot float down. And we're just going to stretch ourselves back out, rolling back onto our belly. Take as long as you like on your stomach, starting to crawl ourselves back up to table pose. But first we'll slide in that child's pose here, opening the knees wide, big toes together, hips way back, arms way forward, long stretch. Take your time coming back up into hands and knees, cat and cow. Maybe curl the toes under again for another toe stretch. It's nice to revisit poses and just see how the body has started to warm itself up. I'm gonna grab my blocks and move into a little bit of hip openers, some low lunges. You're welcome to use blocks or not. It's totally up to you. If you do have some kind of osteoporosis or low back disc issues, you're going to definitely want to use props to help keep that spine long and tall. I'm just going to rock a little bit. I'm going to walk my hands over toward the left edge of my mat so I can bring my right foot forward. You can do the other one, of course. I'm going to bring that right foot off the front edge of my mat and rock into a wide knee lunge here. Just rocking. My back is really, my shoulders and my hips are almost in the same line. My back is really flat, hopefully. If it's not flat enough, I might take the blocks, lift my shoulders a little bit. That might feel better. And I'm rocking onto the heel of that front leg, getting the flat foot, stretching out the inner leg, the back of the leg, the hamstring there. And then I'm going to rock forward and I'm going to heel toe that front foot onto the mat in line with that right hip, or maybe just a little bit wider. And I'm still on the inside of the front foot with my hands, but I'm going to walk them more in line with the left hip so that my shoulders and my hips start to turn forward and my heart's going to lift up a little bit. I like to have my back toes curled under, but you're welcome to have that foot flat as well. And I'm just going to rock the hips a little bit, side to side, just barely, kind of a small movement there. I'm going to start to walk my blocks in so I can push my hips up and back, and the front leg is going to straighten out or stretch out. It's not going to go completely straight. I'm going to keep walking those blocks in toward that knee that's on the floor as long as I can. And then I'm going to take a block on each side of that front foot. So now I'm really leveling out, squaring up. And I'm going to drag the heel in a little bit so that I can bend my knee by sliding my foot up under my knee joint. And I've got 90-degree angles here at both of my knees. And then I'm going to walk my hand to my thigh and come up into a balance with my knee on the floor. If that's not okay for your knee, curl the back toes under and lift that knee off the floor, and feel free to rock up and down a few times. You can do that even if your knee is fine. It feels pretty good. Yeah, feel free to use those blocks. lifting and stretching. This is as high as we're going to get today. This is a little bit of a pyramid rock if you like it. And then we're going to bring that front foot back, open the knees really wide, and rest in child's pose, or you're welcome to sit back into a hero's pose as well. Try to concentrate on your hips. Do they feel different from each other? Anything you notice is welcome. Take a big breath and slowly come back to table pose. I'm going to walk my hands all the way over to the right edge of the mat. So now I'm bringing the other foot forward, but I'm bringing it right up off the edge of the mat, onto the floor first, really wide, rocking back and forth. And this is where you might choose to use blocks as well. And the foot in the front and the blocks are really far apart here, so there's lots of room. And I'm getting a little bit of a diagonal stretch into the hip joint. Take your time. If you get a cramp, come right out of the pose. Take care of your muscles and your tendons today best you can. Start to heel toe the front foot onto the mat, a little bit more in line with that right hip. Walk the blocks in line and place those blocks where the other foot would be if you were standing. I'm just rocking back and forth, really nice and square here, both hands on the inside of the front foot still. I'm going to start to walk the blocks in toward my knee that's on the floor so I can straighten out the front leg a little, rock a little there. I might even stretch that leg further forward so I can get a really long stretch. Now watch the low back. This is where we can get really rounded since we're low. If you want to bring the shoulders up a little higher, it's always wise. Maybe rock a little. And then slowly begin to bring one block on the outside of the foot, the other block on the inside of the foot, and sink the hips back so that the hip is right over that back knee, and start to scoot the front foot inward so that it slides right up under the knee. So you have 90 degrees at both knees, and then lift upward. Hands can be on the thigh. Yeah. Now remember, if that back knee doesn't feel good, you're going to curl the toes under and lift, or you're just going to move there at any time if you like. Rocking up and down, stretching through both legs. This is my favorite way to practice yoga. It's what comes next is what's natural. It kind of just happens. It opens up. The body starts to say, this is what I want to do next. And we just follow that intuition. From here, I'd like to do one forward standing fold, just one. So if you're ready, you can step that back foot forward to meet its buddy in the front there, knees deeply bent. You can keep your hands on your blocks in front of you. I'm just going to do a forward fold, hang it out. Maybe rock heels to toes, nice long stretch on the hamstrings. I like to swing my head from one edge of the mat to the other. Just do what you like to do here. Let the blood rush down into your head and arms, away from your heart, just for another couple breaths. At any time, you're welcome to step back into down dog or table or even into child's pose, anything else that occurs to your body. We're just going to take our time moving slowly back down to the floor again. I'm going to come back into a seated position. I'm going to take my blanket. Love to sit on my blanket. Sink those hips over to one side and stretch both legs straight out in front of us. Just pause for a moment here. Check in with your body. Maybe roll the shoulders, rock the head a little bit. How's it feeling? I'm feeling warmer, a little tingly, definitely a little more connected. Just kind of tell yourself how you're feeling. Just notice it, enjoy it a little bit. And of course, I'm rocking, always rocking. I'm gonna move into a figure 4 shape here, taking my right ankle on top of my left thigh. You can wiggle your toes or roll the foot around. Try to keep the spine really tall and long. Even send the back of the head a little further back than feels comfortable, so you're kind of leaning back out of the pose. And you can rock forward and back a little bit. Just keep those toes rolling and wiggling. I'm going to keep sliding the ankle now off of that thigh so that my knee comes right on top of the other knee. And I'm going to kind of diagonal the bottom foot a little bit, the bottom leg, so that the knees are pretty stacked. It does not have to be exact. But what's going to happen is that bottom leg has to stay really flat here. And as I lean in, that long hamstring is really waking up. It's really talking to me. So I'm not going to lean very far. I'm going to wiggle those toes. As you wiggle your toes, can you feel that all the way up into your hip? That is amazing. Yes, sir. That's our body talking to us. Let's do a little twist here. The top knee for me is my right knee, so I'm going to take my left arm and cross it over that thigh and let the shoulder kind of come down toward the knee a little bit, and the other arm is going to roll back. I'm going to open the heart, maybe even reach up, or maybe just keep it down, tuck it behind, wherever you like. It's kind of a twisting, leaning. Take a big breath. And slowly unwind. Good. Let's turn all the way to the other side, just gently reversing the twist. And this time I'm going to stay up really tall. And then turn forward. Now this is optional. You can keep the bottom leg long, or you can lean way back and bend it and tuck it under. So the outer edges of your feet are pressing into the floor. Your toes are kind of pointing up a little bit. And the knees are crossed. This is our shoelace pose. And this is really optional. This is as twisty as we get. And maybe your top knee is a lot higher. That's totally fine. You can use blocks as well. I'm going to lean belly toward thighs, just compressing into those hips, feeling the squeeze, taking a breath. Then I'm going to walk my hands over to one side, and you can be up much higher for this. Just side stretch and a little bit of a twist. You can drop the head or look over your shoulder. Feel that full inhale, and on the exhale, walk back to center. In the center, I'm going to lift up and bring the arms all the way up as well. And reach through the torso. And then as I lower the arms, I'm going to start to walk them to the other side. And we want that deep breath in the twist. Coming back to center. Good. Just rolling the shoulders a little bit. I'm going to take big movements with the arms, the elbows, the shoulders. My belly has to hold in a little bit to keep me balanced here. And you're welcome to just move like octopus arms or seaweed. Or you can tuck one hand behind, the other arm reaches up, and you can slide the hands toward each other on your back. A little bit of cow's head here. Lift the heart. Open it up, and it's all optional. You don't even have to do that at all. Just take your time. Maybe a little rock and relax. Lean way back. Lift those knees and uncross. Plant the feet and rock the knees a little bit side to side, and then open the legs really wide apart. Flattening the knees down, leaning forward, feeling that both inner edges of the legs stretch. Wiggle those toes. Slowly come up and bring the legs back long in front of you. Take a moment, see how you feel. And then we'll bend the other knee and cross that ankle on top of the other thigh. So I'm putting my left ankle on top of my right thigh. I'm just rolling my toes and my feet. I might start to rock a little side to side or forward and back, just to see how it feels. You may have noticed I have a new background. This trail right here reminds me of one of my favorite parts of the Mount Lemmon trail. I can't remember the name of it. Hitchcock? No, that doesn't sound right. Anyway, it's one of my favorite places on the planet. Okay, we're gonna slowly start to slide that ankle off and come for the knee, one on top of the other here. That was a strange description. Just trying to stack the knees kind of sideways with that bottom leg, a little diagonal there. Good. I'm going to lean into it a little bit so I can get that long back of the leg stretch. It doesn't need to go very far. You can lower the head if you like. And we'll do our little twist. So we're going to come up and cross the opposite arm over. My left knee's on top, my right arm crosses over, my right shoulder drops downward. I'm going to open the back shoulder up, deep breath. And then slowly back through center, twisting the other direction. You don't have to lean in this one, but you can. And then forward again. And I'm going to decide to tuck the leg under or keep it stretched out at this point. This is our options here. Leaning forward again, just feeling the difference in the hips. Now that we've folded the bottom leg, if you've chosen that, this time the forward stretch is in that top hip. Yeah, that feels pretty good. Walking up. And then we're gonna walk over to one side, doesn't matter which one. A little bit of that leaning forward, side stretching, twisting. Lots going on here, a little rocking, deep breath. And then the other side, just nice and slow. Don't worry, we'll do our, come back through center and lift our arms all the way up for that full torso stretch. Twisting the wrists and beginning to just move the arms, the shoulders, however you like. Ending up in that shoulder stretch, that cow's head position, maybe one arm tucked back behind, try to remember which one it was, and the other arm comes down. Open the heart for a breath or two. Relaxing and leaning way back, uncrossing the legs, rocking the knees a little and then stretching them out really wide. Flattening the feet, wiggling the toes. And I'm just gonna lean to one side, and you can lean straight off the hip for more of a front and side stretch, or you can walk the hand onto the foot so you get a little more of a twist. You might see, you can go a little deeper if you're on a little more of a diagonal, but it's not important to go deeper. Just feel the edge of your own stretch there. And then take your time coming up through center, lean back as a way of letting the body know it gets to have a break. And then try the other side. Leaning. Coming up, we're going to lean way back again and slide the feet onto the floor and take our time rolling over onto one side again. Look around for your strap if you like to use it. And take a long, slow journey onto your back. It feels so good when we get there. Rocking the knees side to side. And eventually drawing the knees in toward the belly, the chest. See how that feels. Just to squeeze and roll and rock and stretch out the whole flat of the back. We're flattening out that lumbar curve a little bit. Give it a little break. Wiggling the toes. Maybe rub the big and second toe together so you can get a little sensation, meditation there. You can notice using the senses again. And slowly push one foot up in the air. I'm going to push my right foot up and squeeze my left knee in. I'm going to rock in this position, one knee in, one leg up. See how that changes the stretch. And then back to center. I'm going to lower the long right leg slowly downward. You're welcome to bend the knee a little bit. Bring the heel all the way to the floor and then push it down to the end of the mat. And I'm going to start to turn my shoulder, my right shoulder toward the left knee. I'm going to turn my head to the left as well and start to adjust my shoulder that's on the floor inward a little so I can, and then reach up with it. It's just a little strange variation here. See how this feels to be pushing out through the long leg and reaching up with the opposite arm. So we're getting a diagonal. Deep breath. And then back to center. I'm going to roll the knee that's squeezed in over my body. Place the foot, the sole of that left foot on top of my right thigh and roll over. This is a really big stretch for that hip. I'm keeping the knee drawn into the chest too. Now you can lift that left arm over your head again. So you're getting that diagonal once more. Right leg long, left arm over the head. Big breath. Rolling back onto your back, open the left knee wide into tree pose and take a break. Arms and legs, knees, that one knee wide, center your shoulders and breathe. Wiggle your toes and slowly bring both of your feet to the floor. Knees are bending and rock a little side to side. See how you're feeling. Bringing both knees back into your heart again. Rocking and stretching the lumbar curve out. Holding the right knee in, lifting the left leg up. Continue to rock side to side. Push through that heel. Centering, beginning to lower the long leg, squeezing the right knee into the chest so you have a really nice solid structure for the low back against the floor. Let the heel touch the ground and then push down and out through the sole of that long left leg. Hold onto your right knee with your left hand, so opposite hand, and the right arm is going to reach up. So this is our diagonal. Right hand reaches up, left foot pushes down, right knee is drawn in. Wiggle the toes a little and breathe. And I'm going to curve a little bit to the right, just for a moment. And then come back to center and start to roll the knee over the body. The sole of the foot could touch the top of the thigh because I'm going to keep that knee tight into my chest as I roll over. And that's where I can feel that deep piriformis stretch across the outer hip and glute. Feels really good right there. Keep reaching through those diagonals. Top arm, bottom foot, reach through. One big breath. And then we're rolling into our tree pose. Right knee wide, sole of the foot on the inside of that long left leg. And the arms can relax and breathe. Sliding both feet back onto the floor, knees bending, rocking those hips side to side. Start to widen the feet wider and wider apart so that the outer edges of the mat, you can feel the outer edges with your soles of your feet. Maybe the whole foot comes off the mat. It's all good. Rocking side to side. You can rock your head in the opposite direction. Go nice and slow. And then come back to center. Pull the knees wide apart and draw them in toward your armpits. You can hold on to the shins and just roll the ankles or let the big toes tap. Or you can float your feet up flat toward the sky. Slide the hands behind the thighs, behind the knees. Maybe lift the tailbone off the floor a little bit. You're welcome to take full happy baby, reaching for the outer edges of the feet, pulling them down. Really stretching it out and rocking if it feels good. Yeah, sometimes it feels good to have the toes touch together or the legs even wider apart and straightening them out. You're welcome to do that here as well. Good. Bringing the legs back together, knees together. Look around for your strap if you like and wrap it around both feet. And push those feet up high in the air. Straighten out the legs, flatten the feet, and draw the toes toward the nose just a little bit at a time. Find your edge. Find that place where the body says to stop and breathe right there. You might get a little shaking. Feels good. Let's keep the right foot in the strap and lower the left foot down nice and slow. So you're getting a right hamstring stretch. Squeeze the glutes a little bit. Push the foot into the strap and take a breath. Lift the long left leg back up and slide it back into the strap and lower the right foot. Nice and slow. Long leg if it feels good. Always bend the knee if it's better. Take a deep breath. As you press into the strap and then lift the long leg up again. Into the strap, good. Widening the feet all the way apart, as wide as they'll go, right up to the edges of the strap. Rock side to side. And just enjoy that. Stretch. Take your time coming out of the use of the strap, bending the knees, letting the straps go. Let's take our final pose will be bridge pose. And you can use a block or blanket under your hips, or you can do a little bit of work. You can just lift the hips off the floor and engage the core, engage the back muscles, everything you like. Eventually maybe sliding the block under so you can rest and settling in for just a really gentle inversion. Whether your hips are at work or at rest, it's a nice inversion. Begin to watch that rise and falling of the breath. So good. Feels so good to be breathing, to be alive. You're always welcome to close your eyes and go inside to that internal sensation awareness. Proprioception or interioception is what we call that, to know what it feels like inside. And then take a break from that and open the eyes and notice what it's like around you in your environment. Come back into that room. You might even look at your body. You might be able to see your knees rocking or stretching or bending. You're welcome to lift the legs up as well. That sometimes feels really good. And you can stay here as long as you like, or you can head into your Shavasana when you're ready. Give yourself all the time in the world to try different options for Shavasana, whatever feels right. The goal of our relaxation pose, the Shavasana pose, is rest, stillness, quiet. But sometimes we need to wiggle a little more and then we can settle back in again. So take your time. I'd like to close today with a rotation of consciousness. This idea goes back to the idea of oscillation back and forth from polar opposites, side to side, one to the other. And it is the natural flow of life. Things come and things go. Things come together and they fall apart. There's good and there's bad, always coming and going in our lives. So just do with this what you will, listen in or tune yourself in and out at will. This is a systematic journey of sensory awareness throughout the body. You will move your awareness to different parts of your body as soon as you hear them named. You can say the name of the part to yourself and feel that part of your body, but not moving anything. We begin on the right side. The right hand thumb, second finger, third finger, fourth finger, fifth finger, palm of the hand, back of the hand, wrist, forearm, elbow, upper arm, shoulder, armpit, waist, hip, thigh, knee, calf, ankle, the heel, the sole of the right foot and the top of that right foot, the right big toe, second toe, third toe, fourth toe, and your little pinky toe. Left hand thumb, second finger, third finger, fourth finger, fifth finger, palm of the hand, the back of the left hand, the wrist, forearm, elbow, upper arm, shoulder, armpit, waist, hip, thigh, knee, calf, ankle, and heel, the sole of the left foot and the top of the left foot and the left big toe, second toe, third toe, fourth toe, and the little pinky toe. Now go to the back of the body. Right heel and left heel, right calf, left calf, right thigh, left thigh, right buttock, left buttock, lower back, middle back, upper back, the entire spine, the right shoulder blade and the left shoulder blade, the curving back of the neck and the back of the head, top of the head, the forehead, the right temple, left temple, right ear, left ear, right eyebrow, left eyebrow, in the middle of the eyebrows, right eyeball and the left eyeball, right nostril, left nostril, and your whole nose, the right cheek and left cheek, upper lip and lower lip, and the lips together. Chin, jaw, and throat. Right collarbone, left collarbone. Right side of the chest and left side of the chest. The upper abdomen, the navel, lower abdomen, right groin and left groin, and the base of the pelvic floor. Your whole right leg and your whole left leg. Whole right arm, whole left arm. The whole torso, the whole face, the whole head, the whole body, the whole body, the whole body. Come back to the feeling of your breath flowing in and out of your nostrils, maintaining your awareness of breath and at the same time developing your awareness of your physical body relaxed. Lying on the floor, feeling the container of your skin and clothes and the floor that you're touching. Notice the heaviness of your body as it rests on the ground. And remember all those little points. 61 points of contact, of awareness of the body. Take a nice deep breath. Hold on to that breath. Feel the beating of your heart. And whenever you like, you can let it go. And begin to wiggle your fingers and toes. And take your time, slowly transitioning back into life again. And we'll end the way we started with some ohms. Feel free to ohm your way up into a seated position. Go slow, you don't have to rush. Just enjoy the journey. And we'll end our time together as we always do, with our hands together or in our lap. bowing to the goodness of this moment and each other and ourselves. Namaste.